guys, welcome back to the channel. Joffrey Noodle Legs. Sorry if I'm a bit quiet today, got a little bit of a sore throat going on. Typical, you know, sort of getting out the winter sort of period towards spring, and I always come down with something. So sorry if I sound a bit quiet, it's a bit sore to talk. But I need to do these reviews because otherwise it's going to miss the week. And I'm in my American Horror Project week. And tonight we're looking at the third film in the first set of the two box sets, and we're looking at the film Premonition. I'll give you a little synopsis on the film. The film starts off with we see this sort of like this couple at a fun fair. This guy works as a clown at a fun fair, taking photographs and stuff, and I don't know if it's his long lost partner or whatever, but she turns up, and they're looking for this young girl.
What do you think?
I don't know yet. It's so hard to tell.
Well, here, take a look at this one. It's her eyes, Andre. Look at those eyes. The mouth. See that? I saw it yesterday when I took the photograph. This time I'm positive I know it's her.
You sure her name is Janie?
Yeah, I'm sure of it. Yeah. Janie Bennett, age is right. Go figures. It's gotta be her.
Where does she live?
Dover, about 5 miles from here.
So they're looking for this young girl, and obviously they've obviously been living apart, and he says to her that, you know, I told you I'd call you when I find something. So he's found this girl and this her mother. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but at the moment we don't know why they're looking for them. But he sort of like says, you know, I'll tell you, I'll call you.
I told you I'd call you as soon as I found something, didn't I?
Jude, what if it's not her? What if it's like all the other times? What if we come out with nothing? What then?
We wait. But we keep on waiting until we find
her. We then cut to a sort of it's not really a hospital. It's like a sort of scientific sort of study place where we got this woman who studies. She sort of studies people that have sort of like clairvoyancy sort of powers, and also has sort of like not sort of like telepathy, but can sort of see things. And she's sort of like talking to the staff there about what she's finding. And we introduced to one of the doctors, and he's like the father of the young girl and the mother that the other two are looking at. And so she's sort of telling him about her sort of like findings.
So what you're saying is that these dreams were inspired by some sort of telepathic communication?
I can see you're a skeptic, Dr. Bennett.
Skeptic?
I think you'll find our work very closely related. Trying to understand the phenomena of the real world sometimes reveals more the nature of the mind than the nature of things. Wouldn't you agree? Our concern at this point is the gathering of facts. The theory part comes later.
We then cut to a school, and we see the dark-haired long woman, a very pretty woman she is. And we see her watching the kids coming out of school, obviously looking for this young girl that they've found now. I don't know what, again, it's not explained why they're looking for her. So we sort of see her looking for the girl. So she's not having much luck, and all the kids are running by quite quick. It's quite difficult to see what she's looking for. But then she sees her.
Janie? Janie! Janie!
Then the young girl sort of like, after sort of standing there looking at her, gets called over by her mother, and she goes back over to the car, and then the mother asks her, who is that?
What?
I don't know, some lady.
Well, what did she say to you?
Mommy, can we go to the fair again?
So we don't really know who this person is or anything at the moment. So it's the story's really slow, and I was sitting watching it thinking, what am I watching? You know, it's just really slow and sort of like a little bit boring, to be honest. Then we cut to the family at home, and the mother's painting a picture of the young girl.
Daddy's Hi, Daddy.
Hey, sweetheart. How's my favorite star tonight?
Fine. Do you love me, Daddy?
Well, I love you. Of course I love you, sweetheart.
Can I carry this thing?
Oh, it's much too heavy, sweetheart.
Then can I carry the bottles?
Sure. Take in the kitchen, okay?
Okay.
And we cut to the night time, and the woman and the guy that are looking for this girl, they seem quite pleased that they found her, and they want to celebrate and stuff. So the guy turns up at the woman's sort of like, she's staying at some sort of like really rough looking sort of like room to rent sort of B&B sort of place, and he goes around there and meets her, and they start talking about a plan of taking the girl, and that taking her, and that that he's found a place, but they'll never find them.
They'll never find us.
Miles?
Hmm?
There was a strange woman watching Janie today. Miles, in the schoolyard today, there was a woman I'd never seen before looking at Janie.
Oh. Well. What was Janie doing?
It doesn't matter what Janie was doing.
Did this woman say anything to her?
I heard her call Janie's name.
So there you see that the woman tells her husband about the strange woman, talking to the young girl. I think the young girl's name's Jenny, and talking to him at school, and he thought it was a bit strange sort of thing. But he told him, well, what did she say? Was she doing anything? So there was no evidence of anything going on. We then cut back to the other couple, and the young woman's playing the piano. She's sort of like a musician, and that sort of comes into the film a bit later on, the musician bit. Because when that came in, I just thought, here we go again. It is another thing that I don't know what's happening, because the first, nothing's really explained. And it's no sort of like, when people talk in films, they give you a little backstory. There isn't any really given in this, so you're just trying to work it out in your brain. And so you just think, well, what's the importance of her being like a musician?
what you're really saying is...
The film continues to move at an extremely snail-like pace, and we go back to like the woman in her science thing, and she's got a meeting with other people talking about sort of like clairvoyancy and stuff. So we have that sort of jibber jabber for about 5 minutes. Then we cut to the mother at home in the garden, and her friend comes along. She goes, "Oh, I've got a headache, and we not sort of like do this thing today." So I don't know what they were going to do, but it's not explained. And then she gets a phone call from her husband saying, "Oh, I'm going to be going out with the other scientist, the girl, the woman, for dinner after work to discuss some of the sort of like scientific things." And she says, "Okay, her friend's coming round anyway." And then we sort of cut in the evening, and they're sort of like talking, her and her friend, and the girl comes down because she can't sleep.
Oh, it's good.
We have to try.
When's Daddy coming home?
Daddy'll be home soon. He's having dinner with another professor. Now I want you to go back upstairs. It's past your bedtime.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the film. The mother keeps having these sort of like dream things as well, where she hears this weird sort of noise and like seeing visions of violent visions, but nothing relating to her or the girl at the moment. It's kind of strange, and as you see there, that her husband was lying. He's gone to the fair with this other doctor, so it's like he's obviously they're planning some sort of like I don't know if it's an affair. Again, it's not explained, and it never sort of materializes into anything. And she keeps having these sort of visions and stuff. And then we cut outside their house, where the couple that want to take the girl turn up in a van, and the woman's all dressed in red. So she sneaks into the house, and then she sneaks upstairs to the girls' room. It's really bizarre. She picks this girl up, and then she goes and sits in the rocking chair in it, with the baby sort of rocking it like this in the rocking chair with the young girl. And then so that sort of like the creaking of the chair wakes the mother up, so she goes and looks to see what's going on. So she goes into the room and sees this woman in the rocking chair with her child. So then she freaks out and attacks the woman. The woman then grabs the doll and runs out the house without the doll, without the child, just a doll. And she starts shouting that the child is hers, it's mine. And then she goes out and away and back to the car, and they're off. And from then, that's when the film turns. That's all I'm going to tell you. So what's going on? Who are this man and woman? What are they doing? What are they after this child for? Why didn't she take the child? She got in there and she didn't bother taking it. She could have sneaked in and out, but she made a bit of noise, woke the mother up. And what are these visions that the mother are having? You know, what's going on? It's really not explained. It's really confusing. But then it changes and it becomes awesome. The first sort of like 40 minutes of the film, half an hour, 40 minutes, I didn't know what the hell was going on. Then all of a sudden it starts falling into place. This man and the woman that are after the child she's the real mother. The girl's been adopted. The real mother, the dark-haired woman in the red dress, she had like a sort of breakdown. Was in a mental institution, and obviously the child was taken into care and adopted, and now she wants her back. And this mother's visions that she's having are, she's seeing these violent acts, and what it is, it's nothing to do with the child, it's to do with the other mother. And the other mother ends up being killed by the bloke she's with, and she's seeing visions of that. And she leads the police to where the crime happened, and they find the body of that woman, and then the child sort of like disappears. So the guy takes the child, and they go looking for the child, and they use her sort of premonition skills to find the child, and they use the other sort of side of the premonition thing, the music of the woman that was a musician. They used that to sort of attract that child to her somehow. It does get explained. It might seem a bit weird, but it does get explained, and it turned into a really gripping last hour of the film. And I just thought, wow, okay, because I was not enjoying it for the first half an hour. I thought, this is rubbish. You know, this is just like a drama, like a TV sort of drama. Like I could see straight away they're planning to kidnap the child, and I sort of had the inkling. I bet they're the real parents. That bit was predictable, but the way it sort of twisted and turned around, and the mother's sort of like premonitions, was really, really cool sort of aspect, and it added a lot of dimension to it. And there's quite a bit of scary stuff goes on in some of the premonitions. She sees the woman in the house, in the bedroom and stuff like that, with all like blood over her and like stomach hanging out and stuff like this, and laughing. And it's quite scary and eerie. And she sees all this, and what she's actually seen is that woman's been killed. And she directs her husband in the car to the place where they were staying, and there's a lake there, because there's a dead person in that lake. And then the police come and they drag out the woman in the red dress's body. So she's got this sort of skill, and it turned into a really cool film in the end. I really enjoyed it. I just thought, okay, that was really, when it ended, I thought, okay, that was cool. Bit too slow of a start, and that could put a lot of people off. So the pluses of the film, of the Premonition, is it looks really nice. It does look really cool for its age. This was made in 1976. It's got a bit of an 80s look to it, but it was made in 1976. The acting's quite convincing, because I didn't really know what was going on, so that was quite cool. I quite liked that, and that's down to good acting, really. And it was quite acting. It was really good. The story ended up being amazing and really cool. There's no sort of like killings in it as such, apart from the girl, but you don't see that. You just see the mother sort of like finding the body, sort of thing in her mind. So you don't really see any sort of like killings in it, and it was a really cool, gruesome story. The negatives is the first 30 minutes. It was just sort of like pointless, really. They could have just got on with it. And made the hour like an hour and 10 minutes. Instead, it was like an hour and 40. It was really dragged out, but it was really, really enjoyable. So I'm going to score the film a great watch, and I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. It was really, really cool. I can't put it any higher than that, because it's not really my cup of tea when it comes to horror films. But I can see why it is in this collection because it is a sort of missed, sort of like, okay, that was quite cool sort of film. And that's what these films are about. They're supposed to be films that were out at this time period when all these sort of like exploitation films were coming out, but these sort of got missed. They probably played in like drive-ins and stuff like that. But yeah, that was really cool. 7 out of 10. Have any of you seen the Premonition? Let me know down below what you thought of it. I thought it was really good. Apart from that slow start, when I got close to turning it off, I thought if this doesn't turn soon, it's going off. But when they turned up outside the house, and we're going to go into the house and start, to try and get the child, I thought, okay, I'll hang on a bit, and then it turned. The whole film just turned round, and it was really suspenseful, and it was spooky and scary, and it was really cool. Really good film. Guys, check out some horror channels for me. Check out Horror Hands, The Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, Pizzawell, and Sarah of Horror. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.